We are
You're live.
live.
There you go.
What's up, guys? It's In the Black with our Wednesday night hangout, and it's me, your wonderful host tonight, Max Uhas, and we're basically guested and loved with and I don't know, our co-hosts tonight. We got Mr. Matt Dillingham, we got Mr. John Neutron Newton, and our super special guest who had Neil Patel on as her basically as her opening act last night for the last night's hangout. Miss Amy Starr Allen, fired up. You know what I'm saying? Super stoked for this. For those of you guys that are watching this, just realize we're going to go over some really cool stuff like niche blogging. We're going to go over how to basically get how to attract the right people to you, and I'm just fired up. You know what I mean? I've been here in Boston this whole week, and it's been snowing and gross and really nasty, and I just feel the warmth through this computer screen from all the love that we're getting from everybody over here. So welcome to the hangout. That's all I'm gonna say about this right now, because yeah. Does anybody else have any other wonderful words to open up with? Are we
I'm
gonna?
excited for tonight. Oh, John, were you gonna go?
Yeah, we're in the rock.
No. Yeah, I'm ready to rock. I'm excited for tonight. Amy, again, thanks for being on. I'm really interested to see, what you're gonna share with us tonight. So, for those of you watching, you're really in for an awesome treat tonight. And because Amy is a very passionate blogger, like myself, I've just become a passionate blogger the last couple of months thanks to my team, kind of getting me on the case here. But like I said, I'm really excited to see what she has to share, what she's been doing, and really how you can benefit. You really use this for any niche. It doesn't matter what it is, any niche. And you guys have known, but I've been writing to veterans and getting responses, and what she's going to show us is going to be off the chain. That's all I got for right now. John, you got anything to say, buddy? I think we're all muted.
Is he frozen?
You asked me a question? I was actually
Yeah.
distracted.
Oh, I wonder. I was like, what's going on?
No, I thought you threw it to Amy. So no, I'm looking forward to this. And anybody who had a chance to watch last night's hangout, it was a blowout hangout. It was incredible. Amy shared some unbelievable information. She's been doing that and blogging and doing great things successfully for a long time now. So I'm just really excited and really looking forward to being involved tonight, and just hope you guys have an awesome time. Now, last week I wasn't here. I was actually watching Amy's partner Chris do a live hangout last week. But I did notice last week we had unbelievable interaction from the team and everybody who was watching the hangout last week. So let's do the same this week, you guys. Let's get a lot of interaction and get a lot of questions, because it's rare when we get a chance to have leaders and people like Amy hang out with us. So you guys, please be sure and post comments in the sections. So. Anyway, with that, I'll throw it over to Amy.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here with you guys. And yeah, I look forward to sharing lots of good stuff, whatever you want me to share. That's what I'm here for, to serve you in whatever way that looks like. So, yeah. Thanks for inviting me.
Awesome. Amy, can you start off a little bit with like your story, a little bit where you come from, for those of us who weren't able to see you speak, because you spoke on stage in Orlando, and that was awesome. I learned some things about you I never knew, and I had known you since the BTC days. It's about almost like 2 years ago, so it's been a while.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how much of my story you want me to tell, but do you? I don't know. Well, I'll just talk for a couple minutes about it. So I've gone through kind of a transformation over the last 20-something years, 30 years, a little less than 30 years, I guess. Starting, when I was 18, I was getting ready to go to college, and my plan was to go to college and get a degree and get a job in the corporate world, which is what my parents did, and what, you know, just I was going to follow in their footsteps. It's kind of what they expected of me. And right before I was getting ready to leave for to leave for college for my freshman year, my mother was killed in a car accident in my car, which sent me spiraling downward. I blamed myself for that. It sent me into a long, ugly road of drugs and alcohol abuse for about 15 years. I did manage to get to college, and, you know, that's what she wanted, so I decided to go ahead with that. And, you know, I went through college, graduated on the dean's list because I had to, because I had a scholarship, so I had to get good grades. So I graduated with, you know, on the dean's list with a degree that I never ended up actually using, because I never really felt like the corporate world was for me. I ended up moving to the beach in San Diego and becoming a bartender, and, you know, having a good time for many years, but kind of getting worse and worse in the world of the drug and alcohol abuse. And eventually I realized that something had to change, and I got sober. I mean, there was more to it than that. I mean, it was many different people coming to me telling me to get help, and me not being ready to take a look at that. But eventually I did that, and I got sober. And from that point forward, that was 17 years ago, from that point forward I started getting heavily into personal development and spiritual development. And I had this calling to go to New Zealand. I just kept having this recurring dream that I needed to go to New Zealand and go backpacking. So I sold everything I owned. I got on a plane to New Zealand with a backpack. I didn't know anybody there. I had no agenda. I didn't even know what I was going to do when I got off the plane. And I ended up spending 6 months in New Zealand, just kind of really going deep with my spirituality and personal development. And you know, during that time, one of the things that I did was some silent meditation retreats where I would go into silence for like 10 days at a time. And it was really intense, but it really served me in a way that nothing had before. And so I actually for a moment considered becoming a monk, because I wanted to just be in silence for the rest of my life. And the reason that I didn't do that was because, more than that, I always knew that I wanted to be a mother, and I knew that I couldn't be a silent mother. So I decided to just, you know, move forward with my longing to be a mother. And when I got back from New Zealand, shortly after that, I ended up meeting somebody and getting married. And you know, at that point, I was really feeling like I didn't want to be a bartender anymore, because I was sober and I just didn't want to be in that atmosphere anymore. So I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. So I got my real estate license, and my I became a personal trainer. So it was kind of entrepreneurial, because I got to make my own schedule and, you know, do my own thing. But when I was 6 months pregnant, well, actually during the time that I was a realtor and a personal trainer, I was introduced to the network marketing industry. And I basically went online to figure out a way to be able to work from home. Answered an ad, learned about the network marketing industry, joined a did it kind of on the side with me, my personal training. But I was, you know, it was kind of a silly supplement that kind of didn't really take it seriously. And then when I was 6 months pregnant with my first child, it occurred to me that I need to figure something out, because even though I get to make my own hours, I still have to leave the house to work, and I don't want to leave. I didn't wait my whole life to have a baby to turn around and leave after she's born. So that's when I decided to really commit to the network marketing thing. And so I dove in. I was able to create, you know, a full-time being married with a husband that has a job. So like a couple $1,000s a month residual income by the time my baby was born, and I never went back to work. From that point forward, you know, that income was okay until my second child was born. At that time, my husband and I had been not doing so great, because he had been laid off from his job. We were struggling financially. Our marriage was failing. And right after my second daughter was born, we broke up. abruptly. So I became a single mother with a 4-week-old and a 3-year-old. And so now all of a sudden that $2,000 a month wasn't really going to cut it. And went bankrupt, let the house go into foreclosure. I was fully committed to not getting a job. I just had to figure out a way to make it work without actually going back to work. So, I won't go into all the details of the ups and downs of that, but it took me quite a while to finally get to the point where enough is enough and to come through on the other side. And it was really coming on the internet that made the biggest difference for me. Before, I had been in my network marketing company for 9 years. I was having a really hard time just paying my bills, just making enough money to even pay my bills. And I realized that there's only so many people that I can get in front of with a flip chart in a coffee shop. And so I started to make some videos and create websites. And my sponsor was like, "You can't do that. This is a belly-to-belly business. This isn't how we do things here." And I said, "Well, being a single mother, I don't want to train people in person." I said, "It's for me to go to a coffee shop and spend an hour with somebody to train them when 90% of the people that I'm training don't even do anything is a waste of my time. So I'm doing the training once on a video and I'm putting it up on a website, and that's how I'm going to do it." He was like, "No, you can't do that." The company wasn't really supportive of anything on the internet or anything like that. And so anyway, I was finally at my wit's end, and I just needed to make something happen and asked for an answer, and that's when Empower Network launched. And I saw this as my answer, and I jumped in, all in, and ran with it, and I've never looked back. And it was within 2 months of being inside of this company that I was able to replace the residual income that it took me 9 years to create my other company. And had my first 5-figure month in my first 10 months, and results not typical, see our income disclosure. But it's just been a godsend for me and for my family to be able to work, like at night when my kids are sleeping or while they're at school, and when they're with me, I'm with them. I'm not doing home parties anymore and running around doing all that stuff I used to do. I mean, I'm basically blogging and doing stuff on the internet, which I love. Which that's the other blessing about this to me, is that before I was doing stuff that I hated, and I was doing a lot of it, trying to pay my, make enough money to pay my bills. And so I was like having home parties and flyering parking lots with, flyers about my business and cold calls, like hundreds of cold calls every single day. And driving through blizzards with a flip chart to show the plan in coffee shops to the people that I had cold called. Like, I hated everything I was doing, but I did it anyway because I was committed to not going to work because I wanted to be with my kids. But the fact of the matter is, number one, I wasn't really with my kids because I was all over the place, trying to make this work. Number two, I wasn't really making that much money, so it wasn't really worth it. Where here, I get to do what I love. I get to blog about things that I'm passionate about and make my money that way and never miss a beat in my kids' lives. So now my vision and my mission, my purpose in life is really to help as many other people as possible to be able to do the same thing. I'm really passionate about helping parents come home from the workplace so that they too can be with their kids. And for people that aren't parents, to helping them, do the things that they're passionate about in life. Maybe they want to go skiing, or they want to, whatever it is for people. A lot of people are stuck at a job and they don't have time to do the things that they want to do. And through my perseverance, I know what's possible here. And so my mission is to help as many people as possible have the same lifestyle.
Awesome. I love hearing your story. That's like the second time in shorter version, and I'm still like, wow. Seriously, it's still an awful lot you went through. Max, you gonna say something?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, because basically I never actually heard the full story until, I think about last week from the Epic hack, and then it was just like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Because I was part of BTC for a while, and you don't hear like the whole story because everybody's got a story. We've all got stories, but hands down greatness. So hey, I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
Because basically, like, you know what I mean? Because usually, like, you watch Amy, you don't actually like ask questions. So we got Amy here. So when you because basically when you first started like with Empower, you did you did a ton of videos, right? Like video marketing was your thing, and now that like Kalatu's here, like you're doing blogging. Are you incorporating both of those, or has it basically so you do like your own CrossFit videos too?
Well, okay, so I have two blogs. So let me just clarify that. My Kalatu blog is a CrossFit blog, and just in case anybody's here that doesn't know what I'm talking about there, we right now with our Kalatu platform we can have one blog, and so I decided to create a blog. Unlike my other blog that's about making money on the internet and helping people to learn how to market and that kind of thing, which is another one of my passions, like I just talked about. CrossFit is a huge passion of mine, and so I decided to use the new Kalatu platform to create a CrossFit blog. And on that blog, I've been blogging daily it's been 85 days now straight, and it's a really sleek, super easy to use platform where you don't have to log into any kind of control panel and set up any kind of hosting. You don't do any of the stuff that you have to do with a regular blog. Not to mention, it's faster. It's just much more user-friendly. And so I'm blogging every day on that. And I haven't really. I mean, there are videos on my CrossFit blog, mostly videos that I have found that I like, that I want to share with people. But I haven't been making my own CrossFit videos yet. Video marketing has been. It's still my biggest passion. It's, to me, the best way to connect with people. And I still use videos a lot on my marketing blog, and I just haven't really gotten into the CrossFit video scene yet. But I will. I definitely will.
Hey, Amy, I got a question on that. So, do you know, is there any difference in value as far as SEO goes, whether you link to your own videos or whether you link to somebody else's videos?
I'm not sure about as far as the linking goes. What I do know is that it's a lot easier to rank a video than it is to rank a blog post. So I have a lot of videos that are ranking on Google, even where my blog post isn't. So the way I see it is when you have a video, number one, it helps you connect to your audience on a deeper level by rather than just having text on your blog post. If you put a video there as well, then first of all, you're speaking to two different audiences, the people that like to read and the people that don't want to read, they just want to watch a video. So there's that. You're connecting on a deeper level because text is not as personal as video. But then the other piece of it is, for the people that never even make it to your blog, they never even find your blog, they might find your video. And that happens a lot, especially when you have a lot of videos and you have a lot of content on the internet. I've brought in 90% of the people that I've brought into my business have come in through YouTube. So, well, that was up before Kalatu, so that's where most of my leads were coming from, directly from YouTube. Because the nice thing about the Kalatu blog is it's easier to rank it in the search engines. But if you start a blog from scratch, it's going to take a while to get your page rank up high enough to even rank on Google. So that's the nice thing about video, is that you can put a video on YouTube, and if you know how to optimize it, it's pretty easy to rank. A lot easier than it is to rank a blog post. So I just see it as kind of a double whammy. I don't really know the answer to your question as far as the linking and all of that. I mean, really, when I see people just constantly just posting like Tony Robbins videos and all this other stuff, and they don't do anything of their own, personally, I don't think it's a great idea, because you're not connecting with your audience. Neil Patel talked about this a little bit last night when he was talking about guest blogging. He said people don't want to hear from your guests, they want to hear from you. And the whole purpose of having a blog is connecting with your readers on a personal level. He talked about that too, about being transparent and creating a community. So if all you're doing is posting other people's videos, then you're not really doing that. So I'm not saying that you should never post anybody else's video, but it's definitely good to have, your voice more than anybody else's on your blog.
When you started with your first blog, whenever that was, 3 years ago,
7.
Were you writing exclusively about internet marketing, or were you writing about different things, or was there kind of a transition from just writing about anything to writing specifically about one thing? Because that was one thing Neil Patel talked about, was really to just focus on a single passion rather than be scattered with too much different kinds of content.
Yep. Yeah, and so to answer your question, when I first started, I was kind of all over. I was exactly what he was talking about. Like, it was my personal blog where I blogged about, my personal. It was mostly like internet marketing and personal development are my main like passions. So most of my content was about that, but then I would have some personal stuff on there too, and it was just kind of all over the place. And then I started to kind of morph into more of a niche focus as I learned more. And one of the things that I've done recently, and the training in Las Vegas with Neil Patel has had me even tweak it even more, but one of the things that's happened recently is that I've gone from, I noticed that with my business in the last 3 years, I got so passionate. Once I got online with Empower Network, I just got so passionate about this company and what it provides that when I look back, I'm like, all my content is about Empower Network. It's not really like just generic value to solve people's problems. It's like the answer to every problem is Empower Network for like hundreds of my blog posts. And so recently it occurred to me, and I was like, you know what, I need to go back. When I was having like the hugest amount of success was when I was just posting, answering people's questions and solving people's problems and doing live webinars like this once a week where I would teach an internet marketing skill. And then I would just, I would talk about my business at the end and give people the opportunity to join, but I wasn't just talking about nothing but my business. And so I've gone back to that recently, and the amount of visitors to my blog is like, it's night and day from where it was just a couple months ago since I've started doing that. Because again, I'm providing value. I'm still talking about my business, at the end of my post as a PS or whatever, but it's not like every post is just about why this business is awesome and how this business has changed my life and all of that. So I do think that, if you can, like, I've gotten really good about, I've put this plan together where I'm like looking at, okay, what's the content that I'm going to create for this week, and here's all my posts for this week, and have like kind of a theme going. But we take for granted, I think, especially if you've been online for a while and you've been studying internet marketing or anything like that, every little skill that you learn is something that somebody else doesn't know yet. And I think we take for granted sometimes, like we think, oh, that's not worth blogging about because everybody knows how to set up their autoresponder or whatever. Like all these little steps that we take along the way, that's what I used to blog about. That's what started my initial success online, was just showing people every single thing I learned as I learned it. And so that's one thing that I've always told people: document not just your success, but document your path, like everything that you're learning along the way. And even little things. Like yesterday I did a blog post on my marketing blog about how to create paragraphs on Facebook, line breaks, because so many people, like, they hit enter and it sends the message before they're ready. And I was like, I said to my assistant, I don't know if this is even worthy of a blog post. It was a video, it was like a 2-minute video, showed a couple different ways to do it. And then I'm like, is this really worthy of a blog post? I posted that on my blog, and I got like 5 Facebook messages, and I got a bunch of comments on my blog too, but I got like a bunch of messages on Facebook saying, thank you so much, I've been trying to figure that out, or you blog about the most awesome stuff. And I was like, really? So never underestimate those little things that you just think are common sense, or that it's not worth, if you have some knowledge, share it, because that's the kind of stuff people are Googling. I mean, I Googled it. That's how I figured it out, right? So, I created my own hack, and then I'm like, there's got to be, Facebook can't be this bad. Like, there's got to be an actual way to do this. So I Googled it, and it's amazing what people will Google. And so that's, I think, one of the biggest things to think about, whatever your niche is. And Neil Patel talked about this last night, like you were just saying, have a niche. Figure out what is your niche. And then within your niche, what are they typing into Google? What do they want to know? What are their problems? What are their questions? What are some of the things that you can answer for them? Because if you can answer their questions, they will love you for life, especially if you can give them something to do. This is a big tip right here. You can give somebody something that they can implement right now and get a result, even a silly thing like a Facebook, like they can send somebody a Facebook message with line breaks and they're excited, they will never forget you and they will follow you for life, you know? So giving people something that they can do right away, and I've done a lot of videos like that where I show people like how to, you know, put their affiliate links in their email or whatever. Just something really simple, but if somebody can leave that video and go do that, then they're like, they never forget you and they'll keep coming back to, you know, read more of your stuff, and eventually, you know, they'll lock arms with you in whatever your business is and all of that. So, so I think that's, you know, just a big key is just really, you know, think about your journey and all the little things that you've learned along the way, and help other people who are not as far along on their journey yet by giving them some information that they might not have yet. And the nice thing about the Klaatu platform is, even if somebody else has created a piece of content about that already, number one, if you're doing it on video, everybody is different, and everybody's got their own vibe, and different people will connect with different people. So even if, you know, like people used to say to me, like, I can't compete with Jonathan Budd or Ray Higdon, and they start throwing out all these big names, and I'm like, you're not even competing with them. Certain people are going to be attracted to Ray Higdon, and they're not going to be attracted to you. And certain people are going to be attracted to you, and they're not going to be attracted to him. Everybody has their own style. So I've never worried about that. It's just really about, you know, putting out the content anyway. And then we have the benefit of Klaatu of being able to outrank people anyway. So the chances of your stuff getting seen are even better than a lot of people that just have their own site. Does that answer your question?
Yep. The other thing I was going to ask on your videos, do you monetize all of your videos, or have you done just the, you know, monetize one and let the, you know, don't monetize any of the other videos? I've heard that question asked by some other people, and not me personally. I just have one video that I've monetized, and the rest of them, you know, because for me personally, the ads and all the, you know, the ad stuff, whether it's banner ads or, you know, 30-second, 15-second intro video ads, they're annoying. but I also know that I need to learn to love them, because there's a whole different business opportunity there.
Yeah, so as far as the monetizing, I've never gotten paid 1 cent from YouTube. I mean, I do have ads running on some of my videos, but I've not even hit like the threshold or whatever that you have to hit to get paid. My videos don't, some of them have thousands of views, but most of them don't. I mean, you know, that's the beautiful thing about creating videos. For the reason that I create videos is just to connect with people, and so it's not about getting millions of views. It's just about the right people connecting with the video to take the next step. That being said, I've studied YouTube, and you know, there's a site that you can go to. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but you can type in any YouTube channel and it'll tell you how much their monthly earnings are. And some of these people are making like $100,000 a month off their YouTube channel. My kids follow a girl. I haven't typed her channel in yet. She's like 20 or 21 years old, and she's got the most amazing videos. And she does like these contests and stuff. And like the minute she puts a video up, like my daughter will be like, look, Mom, she just posted this 2 hours ago and she has 200,000 views already. Like she's, you know, so she's like making, that's where her money comes from, is her YouTube channel. And there's a lot of YouTube channels that are really, really dialed in, that that's how they make their money. We have a channel that we follow also called Cute Girl Hairstyles. My one daughter has hair down to her waist, and you know, like I only know how to do so many hairstyles, but if I go to this woman's YouTube channel, she has like 3 daughters and she demonstrates on them, and she's a really good teacher. So I'll go there and learn all these really cool hairstyles to do with my daughter's hair, where she gets like all these people going, oh my gosh, who did your hair? And it's, you know, it's funny. But anyway, she's really good at what she does. And so same thing, like all of her videos have like millions of views on them. And so she's got the ads running and she makes a lot of money. I mean, I would say if you're creating videos that are getting like a few hundred views and you think the ads are obnoxious and you think they might turn people away, then I wouldn't turn them on. At this point, you know, I've turned ads on some of my videos, and then like if I see that a video is getting a lot of views, then I might like turn the ad on it, just in case someday maybe YouTube will send me a check. I don't know, but I don't I don't make videos to get paid by YouTube. You know, some people do, and some people have really mastered that. That's not something that I've really mastered. It does fascinate me that, you know, people have figured out ways to get millions of views on videos, because that is something that, you know, it's just not, you know, my videos aren't entertaining enough to do that, I guess. You know what I mean?
They must be entertaining enough to, you know, to keep you self-employed. So that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Have you ever used a transcription service? You know, Neil, and I've heard this. We've heard this a bunch of times. You know, people basically are transcribing their videos as a written blog post, which is pretty interesting. But I've never really actually heard or talked to somebody who did that specifically.
I haven't done it. I mean, I pretty much either write a blog post and then create a video that's similar, or vice versa. Usually the video comes first and then I like write a post to go with it. So I just kind of summarize the video, but I haven't actually used the transcription service from YouTube. I just kind of do it myself.
I was gonna ask a question. As far as you said in the beginning, like when you first started, Amy, when we first started blogging, you started out with just doing about it was just internet marketing and personal development. That's correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As far as some people have a hard time like writing, and well, what my question is, because it took me a while to find something that I like to write about. As far as for me, mine's been veterans and veteran issues and my time in the military, and just relating to others, and that's something I'm very passionate. I found it. So this might be too hard of a question, but as far as someone starting out, like, what would you suggest, like a tip and for them as how can they figure out what they're passionate or if they're not really sure? Because we've heard about it so many times. I know I've heard about a bunch of times since being in the Empower Network, and I would sit there and think, well, I like video games, I like certain things, but I can never write about necessarily what I like. But once I found something I was like very passionate about, I was on fire. I'm like, oh, I can write about this all day long. Mm-hmm. So what would your advice be someone who's starting out? Because a lot of people in our group are writing about internet marketing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's a lot more effective when you're blogging about something that you truly passionate about, like CrossFit, and I've been blogging about other veterans issues. I got comments, I've gotten some leads, and it's like totally different night and day than when you blog about something that you like doing versus I'm on fire with this topic, let's go all day long, night and day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I would say, whatever, if you have something, if you know what you're passionate about, like I know that I'm passionate about CrossFit because I do it every day and it's a huge part of my life. But if you have like a few things and you're not sure, I would say, one thing to think about is there something, first of all, you don't have to be an expert in something to have that be your niche. So a lot of times, what I tell people is figure out what you want to become an expert in, because if you're blogging about something every day, you're going to be learning so much about that particular topic. So for example, if somebody decides, I want to blog about golf, like I'm not that great at golf, but I want to blog about golf. So they start like learning all the stuff about golf. They start, watching videos on golf swings and blogging about, because a lot of times like the content that we come up with to blog about is stuff that we find on Google, stuff that we go out and research. I've learned a ton about CrossFit. I've been, I don't know if you heard what I was sharing last night, but I've been doing the paleo diet for a couple years. But as I go, since I've been blogging about the paleo diet, I've had to find recipes, and in my search for recipes, I've been finding out stuff about coconut oil. So I started doing all this research on coconut oil, and now I'm doing all of these Ayurvedic coconut oil techniques and all stuff that I didn't even know about before. So I'm blogging about my experience with that, and I'm getting a lot of interaction from that. So if there's something that you want to become better at, I would suggest, maybe choose that, because, you don't have to be an expert in it, but you'll become an expert in it over time, and you'll become kind of the go-to person. And the other thing is, like, if you're learning stuff on a daily basis and you're blogging about what you're learning, it's just the same with the internet marketing journey. If you're blogging as you go, it gives people something to follow, a progression to follow if they're interested in the same thing. So I would say, pick something that that you love, that you're passionate about, and don't feel like you have to be an expert, but if you have several things and you're trying to pick a niche, I would say pick the one that you really want to learn more about. And, you know, when I got off that hangout last night, after, like, you know, we weren't live anymore and we were just sitting there, Dave said to me, you know why you're getting so many leads in the CrossFit niche? Because there's so much traffic in that niche. He said, the internet marketing niche and the MLM niche, there's so much competition, you know, and him and I are both in another thing, you know, like I don't really do anything with it anymore, but it's like the lead generation system that I was using for Empower Network. And he said, you know, they teach strategies and then everybody goes out and tries to rank for the same keywords every week. And it's like impossible to rank, right? Because it's all these like internet marketers trying to rank for the same keywords and make money from home keywords and MLM keywords and all that. And so when you go off into a niche that's something else, it's something that you're just really, really passionate about that has nothing to do with that stuff, it's so much easier to rank. Not to mention, the other people that are blogging in those niches, usually they don't know anything about marketing on the internet. They don't necessarily know about SEO or how to use social media to drive traffic to their blog or any of that stuff. So, you know, if you know that stuff, in addition to having a passion that you want to blog about, then you just have more of an edge in your niche as well. But I've just been also finding that, you know, blogging about CrossFit has been, it's just really fun. You know, there's always, if there's something, and you know this, Matt, if you found your passion, what you love blogging about, I mean, stuff will come up where before I was just doing CrossFit. I wasn't really like going out of my way to learn stuff, extra stuff, or anything like that. But now, like, my coach will say something to me, and I'm like, it's profound. I'm like, I'm going to write a blog post about that. You know, like, I'm just more present and more aware inside of the passion that I already had for it. So that's been a really cool experience. Or like this guy shows up at the gym with this, you know, there's a lot of funny CrossFit t-shirts, and he has this t-shirt on that says, they say you are what you eat, but I don't remember eating a sexy beast. And I was like, can I take a picture of your shirt for my blog? And he's like, sure, just don't take a picture of my face. You know, so I like took a picture, chopped his head off, and put it on my blog. And then I did a whole blog post where I went and like looked for some other funny CrossFit t-shirts, and that was my blog post for the day. And then like I did one for Valentine's Day with CrossFit Valentines, like I could stare at your snatch all day, like all this stuff, like because the snatch is one of the CrossFit moves. Anyway. So I did, like, you know, every once in a while I just get inspired to do something that's, you know, CrossFit people are diehard. That's the other thing about this niche. So if you find a niche where people are just diehard and you post stuff like that, people love it. So anyway, I'm kind of all over the place on a tangent. I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Fine.
Okay.
No, you did. I was going to say, like, I could definitely, yeah, when you find it, two things. One, you are right that when you start blogging about what you're passionate about, you do at the same time become more aware about it in your outside of blogging. And through my experience of blogging about, you know, being a veteran, like I never got deployed to war, so I got lucky on that. But after blogging more about it and getting more into issues and realizing like this is a group that I do identify myself to be a part of, I've noticed more about how, and I noticed it in the past, but now it's like I'm aware of how it's like we're a group that's not really, we're almost kind of ignored, where it's kind of like, yeah, you serve, all right, now stand over there and don't say anything. And now I'm way more like aware of that and realizing, wow, I kind of feel like I'm alone. And then I talk to this group that I'm the only voicing stuff for, and we all bond more. And because I've done videos about like rants and how it feels and what we should do, and people have tore that up, commented, shared my videos, like, thank you for saying this, you're awesome. So you're right, as far as when you find a diehard niche and you speak about like what they want to say, people will tear it up and they'll love you for it. I've gotten leads, I said, people subscribe to me, so you're right, when you speak to the right group of people, they love it, they respect you more for it. So that's all I got to say on that.
Yeah. Well, it's fun, too, because now, like, I show up at the gym. I was doing a class the other day. I started this new class, different than what I was doing before. And so I'm meeting some new people that I hadn't met before. And this girl the other day, we were lifting together, and she goes, I've been reading your blog, you know, and I don't even know how she found my blog, but it's kind of cool, you know, when that happens, because everyone in my gym obviously is into CrossFit, so one person found out about the blog, and then they've been telling each other, or I don't know what's going on there. So anyway, kind of fun.
Wow, that's really awesome. Well, plus the other thing too is that I think you can be strategic in the topics that you choose. So you don't want to choose a topic about you know, I don't know, something that that doesn't, you know, where people have a more scarcity mindset. Like golf, I think is a great topic because you know that people that play golf generally spend a fair amount of money on equipment and stuff, and they spend money on going out to play. They're very passionate about it, and so it's strategic because now you can pull in people that you know have some money to invest in the business. So, you know, I think that that's probably something that that a lot of people kind of forget about. You know, blog about something or be strategic about the topics that you select, so that you can attract the right kind of people to your business.
Yep. Well, that's the same with the CrossFit niche. I mean, to join a CrossFit gym, it's like a minimum of $200 a month, right? So people that are broke don't do it. So the people that are hanging out, like even the people like at my gym, like I don't even know that much about most of them, but as I learn about people, I'm like blown away by who they are. But yeah, just like you said, none of them are. There's no scarcity conversation going on in that place. That's for sure. It's not 24-hour fitness. You know, it's not for people on a fitness budget. It's for people that are really, really committed and are willing to spend money to be in the best shape of their lives or whatever. And so, and I have signed up a couple people through my gym that don't even bat an eyelash. You know, they're just like, yeah, you know, because like you said, it's a great example. Golf, same thing. Now, video games, I don't know enough about video games, or if broke people play video games, or if rich people play video games. But
Both. Mostly broke people, and a lot of them will just, well, I'm a gamer too, but a lot of them will just play games, and then they'll just get enough to get by to keep playing games, and it's kind of sad. But I actually do stuff, so I'm different.
Well, and you know what? Not to get too far off the tangent, but I don't know if anybody saw. There was an article in the New York Times. I don't know, in the last couple of days that I saw. They did a study, or somebody did a study on people that were unemployed and how much time they spent or what they spent their days on doing. And the bulk of it was basically playing video games and watching TV. You know, they didn't search for jobs. They didn't, you know, do any of the stuff that they're supposed to be doing, you know, to help themselves out. They basically were just hanging out doing nothing. So that was pretty interesting. So I think that's actually a really good point about video games. There's a lot of people passionate about it, but probably not attracting the right kind of people. So.
well, it is a good point, because if they're addicted to video games, you know, are they going to make the time to build a business when they could play a video game instead? You know, and again, coming back to the CrossFit thing, the thing about CrossFit people is they're really, really, they know what commitment is and dedication to, you know, and so there's a lot of mindset involved in CrossFit and any sport for that matter. So any sport, I think, would be a really good niche to blog about. I mean, there's so many good niches. I have somebody on my team that blogs about photography. And again, you know, like if you're really into photography, you're investing in things, right? Like cameras and lenses and tripods and whatever. So it's, you know, just like you said before, John, people that aren't afraid to spend money. Because if you're targeting a market where people are just scraping by and they don't have money to start a business, then you're not going to get very far, even if everybody thinks it's a great idea, you know. So you want to make sure that your target market, when you're thinking about who's your avatar, meaning who particularly are you targeting? Typically, it's a good avatar. Typically, is somebody similar to yourself. Like for me, my ideal person that I want to work with is somebody that's, you know, has a really good work ethic, that, you know, isn't afraid to work hard, that, you know, is a self-starter, that isn't, you know, doesn't need their hand held, you know, that's just like me, right? So when you think about who you're marketing to, who's your avatar, who's your ideal avatar, you know, you don't necessarily want to market to the homeless people on the side of the road because they're not going to be able to take action even if they wanted to. You know, so you need to take everything into consideration. When I first got involved in online, I went through I went through a coaching program with Tracy Walker and Nicole Cooper, and one of the first things that one of the first exercises that they had me do was figure out my avatar, and there was a list of questions, and one of the questions was, how much money does this person make per year? You know, where do they live? All of this stuff, like just to get as detailed as possible. I mean, it's not necessary for every niche, but it is a good thing to kind of figure out. You know, if you guys have gone through some of Chris's stuff, same thing, the values clarification. It's the same thing. It's like, you know, there's different, you know, if you can really narrow down who you're marketing to, you're going to have a lot more success than if you're just like trying to market to everybody in the world. That makes sense.
True. We actually have a question from.
Oh, wait, no, I saw Scott's question, so you could ask.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Scott's question was, Amy, he has a question about have you had good results using social media to get leads and sales? And then he asked, or do you just mainly focus on your blog?
Yeah, social media is a big part of my strategy, Scott. Most of the traffic on my blog comes from social media. So I thankfully now have an assistant. When I post a blog post, she goes out on social media. So if you guys see like my blog posts on Facebook, that's not me, that's my assistant. But anyway, she goes out, she does stuff on like StumbleUpon and all these places that I don't even know what, like I've never logged in, I don't even know how. She just does it all. So a lot of the traffic to my blog, and I can see this when I look at my analytics, a lot of the traffic that comes into my blog comes from social media sites because it's out there, it's everywhere. And she's doing the same thing for my CrossFit blog now, like Pinterest, everywhere. And so, so a lot of my blog traffic comes from social media, and I've also gotten a lot of leads, tons of leads from Facebook, tons of leads from YouTube, tons of sales from YouTube. I've probably gotten, I've gotten a few sales from Facebook too, from Facebook ads, but even, yeah, like Facebook, like when I do like a hangout or something, I promote it on Facebook. And they can't just come to my hangout, they got to opt into a capture page. So I get leads doing that. I mean, there's just so many ways to provide value to people and in exchange for their email address. And so I do that all over the place on social media as well. So I get, I definitely get a lot of leads and sales directly from social media, but also indirectly by using social media to drive traffic to my blog.
How did you find your assistant? Did you get her off like Odesk or one of the traditional sources, or somebody you know?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story. So when the very first Empower Network event was in Atlanta, and Dave Wood did a full training, like a big long training on Sunday, on the last day of the event, where he basically taught everybody how to, he made everybody get an accountability partner. This is kind of how I met Chris Rushlow. He was sitting next to me, so he became my accountability partner. And the training was to have your accountability partner call all of your new signups and kind of edify you and schedule an appointment for you to talk to them. And the new member coaching call was to help them understand why why it's important to own all the products and help them get all in and all of that. So Chris was my accountability partner. And Chris, I was signing up a lot of people, and Chris, I don't know if he was or he wasn't. He never gave me anybody to call. So I kept sending him names of people to call, and he wasn't he would call, maybe he would call, and if he called, he would leave a voicemail, and then he wouldn't try again. And so no appointments were being set. And so finally I was like, let's just not do it this way. I don't need an accountability partner. I'm just going to hire somebody to call my people. So I put an ad on Craigslist, and I basically said in the ad, like, I'm going to pay you, it's commission only, you're going to get paid $5 for every appointment that you set, not for voicemails that you leave or anything else, just if you actually set an appointment. So the cool thing was, I was paying her $5 to schedule an appointment. I had already made a $25 commission at this point. So she I was paying her out of money that I had already made And then she would schedule an appointment. And the minute I started doing this, my business tripled, because what would happen is she would call them and say, I'm the executive assistant for Amy Starr Allen, and you know, you just joined her team, so I'm going to schedule this coaching call, and it's 20 minutes, and she'd give them, you know, like she would have my schedule, and we still do it this way. Like we do it on this site called ClickBook, where I can change my schedule every week, and she looks at the schedule when she calls people, and she sees when I'm available, and she says she's available from 1 to 1:20 or from 2 to 2:20. Or if you're not available, then she's available Thursday from 8 p.m. to 8:20, you know, and it's like these 20-minute blocks. So she schedules the appointment. By the time I get on the phone with these people, they think I'm like really important. They totally respect my time. The calls are 20 minutes, and almost all of them end up getting all in when I talk to them. So I was paying her $5 to make like $3,000 off of these people. And so I basically told her in the beginning, you know, like some weeks I sign up a bunch of people, some weeks I don't sign up anybody, so it's not, I can't promise you a steady amount of money. But for her at the time, she has 6 kids, she's going to school, she had a full-time job, and like an extra $5 here or there was like really good for her. She's like, this is perfect. And she's really good on the phone. You guys might know her, Andrea. Anyway, she's amazing with people. And so I said, do you know anything about SEO, internet marketing, anything? She said, no, but I'd love to learn whatever you want to teach me. So I basically said, you know, if this works out, I would like to give you more to do over time. And so about a year ago, I asked her how much she was making at her job and offered to pay her more than that so she could come home from work. So she's, you know, she's working full-time now for me and Chris, and she sent me an email just a few days ago saying they just put an offer on a house. They're getting this house. She's actually buying a house for the first time, and she just said, I want to thank you because you kept your promise to me, and it's because of this that I've been able to buy this house. And so it's been, you know, kind of a work in progress, and she's awesome. Like she didn't know anything to begin with, and she's just kind of learned. She knows, you know, just by she reads all my blog posts, and then she goes and syndicates them and does all this stuff. And so she's learned a ton about the business itself by just reading through all my stuff and doing, you know, I gave her the exact script that Dave Wood gave us at that training. I gave her, and that's what she would use to call my people. And, you know, so she just learned a lot. And I always told her, you know, she knows that if she ever decides she wants to just join Empower Network and make $10,000 a month instead of what I'm paying her, that it's totally fine. I won't be mad at her, and I'll find somebody else. And, you know, all the training, every single training thing that I've taught her, I did it via video, so that, you know, I told her, like, if and when you want to move on, or, you know, my business gets too big for just you or whatever, like, everything's recorded so the next person can step in and just go through the recordings and learn how to do every single thing. So I don't ever have to. I love video, you know, and it just like I used to train people with my network marketing business with video, same thing. Like I train my assistant with video so that it's all recorded, so I never have to do it again. You know, I'd make the video once, and then for the end, you know, till the end of time, unless something changes in the way that I do my marketing, I can pass the video on to my next assistant or whatever. So yeah, so it's worked out really well, and
that's an awesome story. That's actually really cool.
Well, you know what?
Really...
Here's the coolest thing about it. When I posted that ad on Craigslist, I didn't expect to have so many hits because I was, like I said, I was offering commission only and no steady amount. Like some weeks you're not going to make any money, and some weeks, you know, whatever. And considering that, I didn't expect to have that many hits on the ad. And I got 16 resumes in the first day. Resumes from people that were like overqualified. And she just happened to be the very first one I called. And I hired her. So there's probably plenty of other people that were awesome too. So I always tell people, like, it's not, you know, there's people out there that just need a little extra money that will, you know, are really good. Like every one of these people, these resumes, like these people, they all have like really good phone skills, and they're really, you know, they're good at stuff that I'm not good at. Like Andrea is so much more organized than me. If it wasn't for her, like she finally told me that I'm not allowed to have calls anymore the day before events because I'm always running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and she'd send me like 3 reminders, and I still don't make it to the call on time. And she's like, I'm not scheduling calls anymore for you on the day before events. Like, you can't handle it. I'm like, okay. You know, so she's just gotten really good at like figuring out how I operate, but she's also just so organized, and she handles our whole team. She handles our Facebook group, our team site. So she's, you know, I don't even know how I would function without her at this point.
That's cool. That's yeah. So that's something to aspire to. But I think that's a great idea. Basically, you start off with somebody, but you're not paying them until you've actually got something to give them.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's why I tell everybody, go ahead and hire somebody now. It doesn't matter if you've never signed anybody up, because if you have somebody in the works, like ready to make your call the minute you sign somebody up, the chances of that person getting all in and like fully committing to their business and taking you seriously are a lot better if you have an assistant calling them rather than you calling them. And that was what Dave Wood's whole training was about. It was called positioning, you know, and it's about, you know, somebody else edifying you so that when you get on the phone with them, they just take you more seriously and they see that you take your business seriously. And so I've just told my whole team, like, go out and hire somebody. You don't have to pay them anything until you sign somebody up. But then that person that you sign up, the rest of the process will go a lot better if you have somebody else doing that piece.
That's brilliant. I love it. No, seriously, like that's. I've heard different versions of that, but it actually just now clicked. You know, because I got my assistant doing it. I'm just like, what do you mean? Like that actually? Wow, brilliant. Brilliant. That's like a light bulb in the head right there. So I had a question from before, and then I totally forgot. Oh, so here's the question. Okay, and we're gonna backtrack a little bit on this, because obviously, like, you are doing CrossFit, and as you said, like, CrossFit is a super niche in a sense, to where it's like the people that are in CrossFit are like mega dedicated. Generally speaking, pretty successful. They're not coming from a lacking position. You know, so when you're doing a niche blog, because I think that this is, whether you're new or even if you've been doing this for a while, because I know, like, I've got like 4 or 5 blogs going on, and I have a hard time focusing on which one to work on, because it's, you know, because I'm all over the place just in general. But like when you're actually doing like a specific target niche blog, like the one that you're going to push the most, obviously, like, it should be something that you're uber passionate about, but at the same time, like, you're talking about your avatar. This is where I was going with this. Okay, so basically, because when you started, you said that you needed to, because I had to backtrack my thought process at the same time. You guys know how I am. So anyway, because basically you said, like, you'd gone through all this other stuff, and like you were making what, like $2,000 a month with your other business, and I'm assuming that did, and then you jumped into Empower and did everything else. So obviously you weren't at the point yet, because I mean, basically, like, I'm working from home. I want to work from home. I need to supplement my income, and I need to basically duplicate my income and get everything else going. But you're not making the money yet to really sell that to the people. So as far as an avatar goes, does that make sense what I'm saying, or am I just on one of my weird tangent rambles?
Well, have you asked me a question?
Kind of, sort of. It wasn't like really formatted the right way in like English. It was more math language. All right, so that's what I'm talking about. So when it comes to like figuring out your avatar, like who you're actually, you know, who you're blogging for, or who you're attracting. With that, I mean, obviously, like, you want to have, you don't want them to come from you want to attract people that are going to sign up, right? I mean, you want to attract people that have the money to do it. You want to attract people that have the right drive and ambition, and don't need to be basically on the boob, like, for their first 2 years, like, going through everything. Like, you want to have them running. So how did you figure that out? Like, in that sense, like, that defined, you know what I mean? And like, once you figure that out, like, you actually write for that avatar.
Well, when I went through that training I was telling you about with Tracy and Nicole, where they actually had us figure out who the avatar is, what I realized is I want someone just like me, you know. And so I actually went so far at that point. My blog was brand new at the time, but I had a page on there that was like work with Amy or whatever, and it had like the qualifications that you had to meet if you want to work with me. Like, I don't work with tire kickers. You have to want to make at least $5,000 a month to make it worth my while if I'm going to even like do anything with it. Like, I made it like just super clear. Like, this is who I like. I actually had a list on there, and it was basically describing me. You know, it was pretty easy because it's like, you know, I don't know if you feel the same way, but my ideal business partner is somebody that works like me, right? So that's kind of how I figured it. As I thought about who I would want, it was like, well, this is who I am. So like attracts like. But I went so far as to make it really, really clear. So if somebody wanted to work with me and they'd go to that page, or if I actually changed my voicemail. This was a Mark Hoverson recommendation to say, to send people to that Work with Amy page before like I would even talk to them. Like, go to that page, and if you still want to talk to me, you can call back and leave a message. Yeah, so it was like, you know, like just really like weaning people out. Like, not, I don't want to work with just anybody, and I still kind of feel that way. I mean, I have people that contact me all the time that are like, I want to get started, and I'm trying to come up with the money, and a month later I get another message, and it's like, this person, if you can't come up with friggin' $7, like,
Right.
I can't help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, give me a break.
No, totally. It's like, that's your Starbucks coffee. Come on, you could have done it already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes so much sense, though. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I went so far, when I was in my regular network marketing company, I went as far as to actually pay people's way in if they didn't have the money, and that always backfired. Because, number one, they didn't have any skin in the game, and number two, then they thought that that's what they had to do. So they would go find the brokest people they knew and pay for them to get in, and nobody was making any money. You know, it's stupid. So finally I was like, and then, you know, with this, you know, with the, in the beginning when we had 100% commissions, people were like, well, why don't you just pay for everybody to get in if they don't have the money, because you just make the 100% money back. I'm like, because I don't want to deal with these people. You know, they have to want it. They have to have the skin in the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's I mean, I've had people, you know, get on my list, and then they'll send an email reply to, you know, one of my follow-up emails and say, why do I have to pay for this?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it's incredible. It's truly amazing. So I think that's, you know, it is actually important. And, you know, Chris talked about that last week in kind of the Epic Funnel series too. And what's nice about the CrossFit is that you're dealing with people that really do fit in that sort of achievement value set. And so, you know, everything that Chris was teaching and that you guys have been teaching in that has been super valuable for me. And I think that that's something a lot of people can learn from is, you know, how to attract the right kind of people and focus on that specific set so that you're not getting a whole bunch of, you know, junk, basically, ultimately. Because, you know, people don't realize, you know, like with AWeber, GetResponse, you know, any of those guys, you when you reach a certain point in the number of leads, you're going to have to either pay more or whatever, and at some point you just have to say, you know, these people aren't responding, and I don't even want them on my list. That they're really not really of any value. So anyway, you know, I think that's actually really super important.
Yeah. And I think it might be important, if you guys want, for me to just quickly talk about how to bridge from a niche like CrossFit or golf or whatever into making money.
Yeah, that real quick, because I think from
Yeah, because that was actually going to be like my next follow-up thing. So it's like you go from passion blog to
making money online.
How do you make money with it?
A lot of people have a tricky issue with that. Now that I've done it like through my other niche, I've gotten better, like you said, by doing like a PS, learn how to do what I do, get paid for blah blah blah. Like, first it's a little tricky, but then once you kind of keep pursuing it, it becomes easier. So you kind of give an example of that.
Yeah, so there's a few different ways that you can do it too. So if you have a business like Empower Network where it comes with this amazing blogging platform, it's really easy because you're blogging on this blogging platform, and the blogging platform actually has a bunch of call to actions built in, so when you're done with your post you can choose whatever one you want. And so what I usually do is I choose the viral blogging one in the call to action, and I just say PS at the end of my blog post. I'll say PS, do you want to learn how to make money blogging about your passions? CrossFit is mine, but I can show you how to make money blogging about yours, or something like that. And then, click here for more information. Then I just select the viral blogging call to action, and so it's congruent, and they can go and learn more about blogging. And then, and you can do that with any niche, because I don't care if you're blogging about underwater basket weaving. You can say, like, you want to learn how I get to stay home and do underwater basket weaving every day? It's because I make money with my underwater basket weaving blog. Learn how you can too, or whatever. There's a million different ways to say it, and I just kind of mix it up. And so that's called bridging. So at the end of whatever you're writing about, you can bridge into, hey, I want to learn more about this blog and how I make money with it. The other thing that I do on my blog is I have banners. The Klaatu blog comes with banners, and you can also put your own custom banners on there. And so I just got some pictures of people doing CrossFit. I have a woman on the sidebar and a man on the bottom, just to kind of hit both audiences. And they just say something like, stop doing what you hate and start doing what you love. It was some of the banners that they created for us in the beginning. And so I just customized it so that it has a picture of someone doing CrossFit on there. And so when someone clicks on there, again, it takes them to a place where they can put in their email address. Again, email address, you're capturing leads that you can follow up with that with via email. But they put in their email address to learn more about how they can cash in on their passion. Cash in on your passion is the big. I'm actually speaking. I just got asked to speak about it at an event here in town. It's like my biggest thing. When Matt asked me if I would talk about that tonight, I'm like, it's my favorite thing to talk about. So on my blog, that's what I'm talking about. Learn how to cash in on your passion, because people are there reading about CrossFit going, how is she making money doing this? How is she making money blogging about CrossFit? And when they click on that banner, they put in their email address to learn how I'm doing that. And so the key is you're not sending somebody directly on the banner. You're not sending somebody directly to a video or something like that. You have to get their email address. They have to give you their email address in exchange for the information, because otherwise you don't have any way to follow up with people. And so once somebody puts their email address in, it takes them to, it can be the video about, the system that we have here with Empower Network or whatever. And if they don't buy the blog right then and there, then you still have the opportunity to stay in touch with them via email, because they put their email address in. And studies have shown that it takes, I think, average 7 follow-ups with somebody before they're ready to actually buy something from you. I've had people on my list for a year and a half before they join me. So following up via email, that's where the magic happens. That's where you get to stay in touch with people. What I do is I send every single time I write a blog post, I send it out to every single person on my email list, because that's where I keep providing value for them, and they get to know me better, and they get to watch my videos, and over time, they may or may not decide to join me, but it's that kind of follow-up process that helps people really get the bigger picture. So if they don't join, some people will join right on the spot, but a lot of people won't, so that's why you want to make sure you get their email address. Now, the other way that you can make money with a passion blog is, even if you don't have a business like Empower Network, there are ways to monetize a blog in any niche. Like, for example, if you have a golf blog, there are products that you can sell on your golf blog where you can make an affiliate commission. I mean, you can find them on Amazon. You can find them on ClickBank. There's ClickBank is a place where you can go, and there's a gazillion books about golf. So you can find 1 or 2 that you really like and promote them on your blog. There's a lot of different things that you can do, where you can just have like banners on your blog selling stuff, or you can write a post on my CrossFit blog. I'm studying coconut oil, like I was just telling you guys, and I just bought 3 books about coconut oil. I basically bought 1 book, and it came with 2 other books, and it was through ClickBank, and these books are fascinating, what I'm learning. So I've been writing about some of the stuff I'm learning, and then within the post, I'm like, if you want the whole book, here it is, click here. And I make a commission for that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can monetize a blog. It doesn't just have to be like, hey, buy this blog, or hey, join my business. No matter what niche you're in, you can, you know, you can put stuff into your posts. If you're, you know, you can review products. Like say you're in the golf niche, you can review a certain kind of golf club and put a link at the bottom of the post for people to buy those clubs if they decide they want to. And you know, pretty much everything nowadays has an affiliate program. So no matter what your niche is, you can monetize your blog. So I just wanted to point that out as well. But the best way that I found, especially for residual income, is to help other people get a blog and blog about their passions as well, and that's what creates the residual income. So that's my favorite way.
Hey Amy, when you do blog posts, are you so in the CrossFit niche, are you trying to optimize your subject lines, or are you not really worrying about that very much?
I do about 50% of the time. I do keyword research, and so you know, like the keyword research doesn't have to take a lot of time. And so if it's a topic that I think is like a highly searched topic, I will take the time to go do the keyword research so that I know what people are actually typing in, so that I can optimize the post for that. But if it's something, you know, that's just kind of silly, like my Valentine thing or whatever, like, you know, I don't necessarily try to rank it, but again, my assistant is out there plastering it all over social media, so even if I don't rank it, it's still getting traffic because of that. And the key with that, by the way, is to make sure that your featured image is something, you know, appealing, attractive, something that'll make people, like I had a picture of a hot guy doing a squat that said, for my Valentine one, and it says something like, life doesn't mean squat without you, and you know, like, whatever. So that was my featured image, so that's what went out all over social media for the Valentine one. So if you have something catchy like that, or even just a really good picture, high resolution, like really attractive picture, like when I do a recipe, I'll have like a picture of the food that's like super delicious looking close-up of whatever it is. And so when that goes out on social media, people see that and they're like, oh, I want to make that tonight, you know, and they click on it and they go over and get the recipe. So your pictures, when you're driving traffic through social media, will matter. So I would definitely take the time to pick a featured image that is attractive.
Wow. I mean, we could go on and on and on, I think, with you.
Yeah,
so,
I agree, because this is great. Like, and it's so simple, but it's so like effective. And it's the forest for the trees. You know what I mean? Like, you can't see the forest for the trees, and it's, oh man,
Well,
I'm so.
I think that's the issue. So much of the time is people try to overcomplicate stuff, or they
Yeah.
don't get started until they think that they know everything. I mean, I've learned pretty much everything I know by just doing stuff, and I call
Right.
it failing forward. Like, you try something and it doesn't work, try something else. And you know, and the other thing is, and Neil Patel talked about this last night too, the key is consistency. And I've definitely seen this with my CrossFit blog. After blogging 85 days in a row, the amount of traction that I have with that blog is like nothing I've ever seen before, because I've never blogged 85 days in a row before, ever. I've been blogging for 7 years on my other blog, but it's like once a week, maybe. You know, so when you're consistent, that's when the traction starts to happen, and it doesn't always happen. I don't mean consistent like I blogged 3 days in a row and all of a sudden everything's happening. Like, it took me like 40 posts until I really started to see like leads and stuff happening. Most people won't even get that far, you know, because they don't think it's working, or they're trying to be a perfectionist about it. I mean, if I was trying to be a perfectionist, I would not have 85 posts on my blog, because half the time it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'm exhausted, and I'm like, let me just find an infographic with something that I can post on there just to get my content up for the night. I know he also talked about last night, which I'm taking to heart, making sure that your content is something that you can be proud of. I mean, I haven't put anything up that's like really, really, really bad, but I have put stuff up that really hasn't taken me very much time, for, you know, just for the sake of being consistent, because even like the people at my gym, like they know that like one lady said to me, she's like, I read your posts on my phone when I'm standing in line at the post office and stuff, because she knows that every single day there's a new post and that they're like easy to read because they're not like, you know, they're usually pretty short and sweet or whatever. So I don't want to break that. You know, I'm doing an experiment to see what happens when you blog for 365 days straight. So anyway, what I've seen is after, you know, you get really consistent with it, first of all, you get a lot better at it. Blogging will become like second nature if you're blogging. I guarantee you, if you do 85 blog posts in a row, you'll kind of have the hang of it way more than you do before you start. And so, you know, like you were just saying, this isn't rocket science. It's just a matter of doing it, you know, and figuring it out as you go. And so, I think that's where the breakdown is for most people, is they try to overcomplicate it so they're not in action, and therefore they don't get any results, or they're not in consistent action, so they never are consistent enough to actually reap the benefits of what happens when you are consistent. And so yeah, just like you said, none of this stuff is like technical or anything, all that crazy, you know. It's just.
Well, Amy, this has been great. Seriously, we're gonna have to have you back for more because.
Oh yeah, she's coming back for part 2. Amy,
Yeah,
you're on for part 2. We've had Chris on twice. You're coming on twice because I said so.
I mean, I guarantee you, we could turn this into a Dave Wood 3-hour marathon.
No, please, not one of those. It's 11:17 East Coast. We're gonna have one of those right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I appreciate your time. I don't want to keep you very long. So I don't. You know, I've asked a couple times in the chat if people have questions. So I guess maybe we've asked them all. I don't know. But anyway, I just want to tell you thanks. This has been awesome. I mean, there's, you know, you can't overestimate the value of the things that you've told us, because you're doing it. You're doing it consistently. You're having success consistently, and I think that that's really what it's all about. And, you know, and honestly, I struggle with blogging because I am a perfectionist, and I'm a real good writer, but I'm a perfectionistic writer. But you know, I'm learning things over the last 2 or 3 or 4 weeks that are really helping me to kind of get clear on exactly what I want to do in writing, because there are some things that I'm passionate about, and I haven't really been writing about them because I think that people want another type of content, and I think that that's the wrong way to go for me. So plus I can't type worth shit.
I was gonna say, you know, this is kind of a funny. I was interviewed today for the Weird Entrepreneurs podcast, and the first question they asked me was, "What's an interestingly weird fact about you?" And I said, you know, when I was in junior high and high school, I was put in a special class called Education Through Challenge for Gifted and Talented Kids. And so while everyone else was learning how to type and learning like practical stuff that they can use in their life, I was learning useless information like studying the lives of classical composers and all this different stuff. So to this day, I don't know how to type. And I blog for a living. So all of my blog posts, all 85 blog posts that I've done in the last 85 days, exactly, 2 fingers. So, and I'm a single mom. So if I can do this, typing with 2 fingers as a single mom, anybody can do this. You don't have to know how to type.
I mean, I'm all of you guys are young guys, but I learned to type on one of those big monster Royal typewriters. You know, they were mechanical typewriters, so that's why I type like crap. But anyway, so,
it's okay, John. We still love you for it. It's all good. Max, you got anything?
Dude, I think this is quite possibly like one of the best hangouts we've ever done.
You keep saying that.
No, really, because you know me. I mean, and this is the whole thing. I mean, I just love the fact that we're able to connect with, you know, so many leaders and stuff. But it's like when oh man, like I got like light bulbs popping off, like fireworks shooting off through the back of my head right now, because I'm just like, so that's the missing piece to the puzzle. You know what I mean? And there's like a couple different pieces that are all gonna get put in together. Dude, it's so brilliant. Amy, thank you so much. No, because really, like this was, and because you know because let's just put it this way. I think that the hardest step for anybody to get started is like just taking the actual steps to get started. And you know, it's like you were saying though, it's like sometimes the smallest thing, like how to basically put a space in your Facebook post. You know, to some people it's common sense, but to a lot of people it's like it is rocket science. You know, because you don't know it. You know, so it's like, oh man, that's brilliant. Like this is great because yeah, there's so much, but it's yeah, I mean, it really is. It's consistency, passion, connecting, and just have an assistant that just does some extra work for you so that you can live your life and not be bogged down with all the social media crap that some of us.
You can hire the assistant before you make a dime.
Yeah.
That's the key, because the minute, like I said before, if you have somebody ready in the wings waiting, and the minute you start signing people up, then they go to work for you, and it'll skyrocket your income.
And that just kind of.
You do it the way I did it. It doesn't cost anything to hire them.
Yeah. No, that's so awesome. Like literally, it's like, hey, I'm the personal assistant, the executive assistant.
Yeah.
And then when you do get on the phone, they're like, oh, hey, thanks for calling me. You know, compared to like, hey.
They're always like, I appreciate your time so much. I'm like, all I did was sell you $3,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
Yeah.
20 minutes. I explained why you need to buy the stuff, and they're like, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. But it's like pre-framed so beautifully because, you know, oh, man, like even the work with me thing. How long did it take you to figure that out? Like basically your avatar and like what you were willing to put up with and who you were willing to work with?
Not long, because when you're getting coached by Tracy and Nicole, they don't give you much time and they don't take any crap. So they were like,
right,
we had our webinars on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then like I think we had a webinar on Tuesday, and then I had a call with them on Thursday, and I had to have everything figured out by then. So
nice.
Yeah. So it gave me like a day to just kind of sit and figure it out. But like I said, for most people, if you're driven and you are success-minded, you're going to want to attract people just like you.
Absolutely.
So it shouldn't be that hard to figure out what the avatar is if they're just like you. You know, if you're a veteran, maybe that's part of your avatar too. You know, for me, I love working with single moms because I'm so passionate about parents being able to be with their kids. And typically, if it's a single parent, they have to go to a job in order to support their kids, and then the kids have nobody. And so for me to be able to help single parents, I mean, that's a huge part of my why. But they don't have to be a single parent to work with me. But again, it's like all the stuff about me is like ideal, you know. So that's why I think a huge percentage of my team are single mothers. You know, just because.
Well, you connect with them on so many levels, you know. Yeah, I mean, basically, you're living the life that they want, and you're teaching them how to get to that point. And because of that, I mean, it's basically like I've done it. I can show you how to do it. I was in your position at one time, and they go, "Okay, you're my hero. You know, teach me." And that's basically what that is. So obviously, but that has a lot to do with like a niche and like a super like something you're passionate about, because you know.
Well, it's called speaking your vision. When you speak your vision to the right people, then they attach themselves to it. And so my vision is to help parents spend more time with their kids, and that's, you know, what I've been able to do for myself, but I want to do it for other people. If you say that enough times, and you know, you speak that, and you make videos about that, people will latch on to that. So no matter what your avatar is, no matter what your vision is, you know, it's really about, I mean, you've heard this a million times, but speaking your vision on a regular basis, because then people will join you out of inspiration instead of desperation. And the ones that join out of desperation because they need to make a quick buck won't stick around anyway. And they'll expect you to they'll blame you. Like, my sponsor doesn't pat my butt. That's why I'm not successful.
I can't believe people
All
say
right.
that.
Well,
Tuesday.
this is awesome. Thanks, Amy. Just incredible. So looking forward to round 2 or 3 or 4.
Five. Go for
We'll
round 5.
guarantee if you'll make slots for us, we'll have you back. So that's very cool. So
Thanks for having me.
I'll just say a couple things, and you guys can kind of close it out. Listen, you guys, I want everybody to understand that I'm not sure what it is, but there's something happening in the universe. I'm telling you, the Collado blog is awesome. There are some other things going on in the internet marketing space that are going to help Collado, that are going to help all of us. There are some really cool things percolating. And so if you guys are in this business, I want you guys to be excited, be working hard, because things are going to happen. 2015 is going to be an awesome year. And if you guys aren't in this business, click the link below and get hooked up with us. We have an awesome team. You can see that we have awesome guest speakers every week, and so we're going places, you guys. And I'm telling you, I mean, some of you guys know today, you know, a couple things that happen. I can't even tell you some stuff that's happening, but I'm telling you, this is going to be a crazy, great year. So click the link. You guys get involved, and I'm looking forward to helping everybody have an awesome 2015. So toss it over to you, Max.
Just join now. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, this is, if you see this and you watch this entire thing and you see just how simple this is, and you're not on the team yet, I can guarantee you one thing. You'll watch a couple more of these, and then you'll watch a couple more of these, and then it'll be, February 18th, 2016, and you'll be kicking yourself in the ass because you didn't take action right now. This is, if anything, it's about consistency. It's about doing the work, and this is, we're not coddlers. We're doing the work too, and we'll teach you how to do it. You're gonna have to do it yourself, but the rewards on this are insanely huge. Insanely huge. So just, I don't know, dude. I'm still mind blown from this. I'm super pumped because this is 2015 is not just going to be a great year. It has already been a great year for me, and I feel the same way for quite a few people. So just let's just put it this way: as the momentum keeps rolling, and as everything, I mean, I made a decision this year. I made a decision last year, and I made a decision the year before. And everything that you do, it's like you speak it into the universe and stuff, and like, oh man, yeah, just like John said, though, great things are in the works. Great things are happening, and you can either be a part of it or you can sit on the sideline. I'd much rather you be a part of it. It's a lot more fun when you're actually hanging out in the group, enjoying successing at the same time, instead of just, yay. I'd much rather win the lottery than watch the guy win the lottery. Although you can definitely, like, man, I wonder what that's like. You can be a part of it, Do it. Just join. Smash you guys in the black. I'm muting myself.
I don't have much to say. Amy, again, thank you for coming on. You're awesome. It's been real. It's been an honor to get to know you and actually have you hang out now. When before I first joined, I think couldn't imagine it's happening, but now it is. So you're awesome. You shared a ton of stuff, and we will have you on for round 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so on from that. So thank you again. And for those of you who are watching, we are going places. We are a special group, and as Max and Gianna said, we have things are happening. You can come with us, and we'll go without you. So with that being said, click the link below. Get in the black. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.